I emailed you. We're not
You,
doing it.
you said pre-10, like, and you're gonna go with the exam, pre-exam, I was like, well, I might as well just get my head in. That's the
So
way you went over.
it is in Canvas. Like if you guys saw, I made an announcement. I did it that day. The 23rd, what was it? I did get it done on Thursday. I told you guys I'd try to get it done Thursday, and I did. And I got it in. I hope, did anyone have a chance to try it? All right, let's see how you did. Rather than trying to write in that tiny little spot there, I'm going to do it on the piece of paper. So math 207. Practice exam 1. Find the prime factorization. Of 759. Well, 759, I know it's not an even number, so 2 is off the list. We can check 3. Does it add up to a number that's divisible by 3? That's the rule for 3s. 7 plus 5 is 12, plus 9 is 21. It is divisible by 3. So we can speed this up a little bit in the calculator by doing 3 times 253. All right, so is this divisible by 3? No, so it's not divisible by 3. We're done with 3s. It's not divisible by 4 because it's not even. Is it divisible by 5? It doesn't end with a 5 or a 0. 5 is out. The next prime number we're looking for is 7. 7 we just have to try, and I don't think it's going to work. 7 goes into 253. We got a 4, no, a 3, and then we got 43. Now it doesn't go in. 8 doesn't go in. 9 doesn't go in. 11 goes in.
Yeah.
The secret to 11 is if you multiply like a 2-digit number by 11, the result ends up being an A on the outside, a B on the right side, and in between them is A plus B. So 2, 3, 2, 5, 3. I was able to tell right away. And it looks like that number is what it was. So this is 3, 11, and 23. And 23 is prime. So that's our factorization. Any questions on that one? The next one is find the least common multiple of 21 and 35. So let's factor them and see what we come up with. 21 is 7 times 3. 35 is 7 times 5. So our least common multiple is 1 from each column. 7 times 3 times 5 is 21 times 5 is 105. So the LCM is 105. How's work going, Bob?
It's been kind of weird with all the rain.
Because,
Yeah, actually we get a lot more flat tires with the rain. And yeah, it's been weird.
that is weird. What?
Yeah.
Why? People skid a lot or something?
No, it's just because like rubber, there's actually a video you can watch. Like rubber actually needs like lubrication in order to have penetration at all. So you can whack a dry tire all you want with like a knife and it won't really penetrate, but as soon as you add a little bit of water, it adds that just lubrication, which actually allows the knife to, instead of bouncing off, and it actually goes in.
Who knew that shit? I sure as hell didn't know that. Did anyone else know that?
No, it doesn't make it soft, it just makes
It
it.
lowers
so
the surface tension or something like that.
So it just, instead of bouncing around, it actually can go in because it has a little bit of lubrication. And it does not take much of lubrication at all, because tires are naturally like dry. You just whack it with like a little bit of tire lube and it makes it like so much more pliable and
Huh.
it's very interesting.
You learn something new every day. That's some fascinating shit right there, actually.
But it's been slow as hell, okay?
Who thought I was gonna learn anything from Mason?
I know.
Number 3. All right, so a freight container is 61.6 inches. And we have 3 boxes that have widths. Box A has a width of 28 7/16. Box B has a width of 15 7/8. Box C has a width of 17 1/4. And we want to see if they'll all fit. So the easiest way to go about adding these up is to get a common denominator for the fractions. So it looks like the lowest denominator, or the least common multiple on the denominators is going to be 16.
7/16, 14.
So the 7/16 stays the same. This one, we're going to multiply. I want the bottom to be 16, so I'm going to multiply by 2 and 2. And then I still have 15, and then I'll have 14/16. And this one, I need to multiply by 4/4. And I'll get 17 with 4/16. So if I add these up, I've got 8 and 7 is 15 and 5 is 20. 2, I got 60 there. And this adds up to 7 plus 14 plus 4/16. Which is 25/16. This pin is dying. So I could peel off one of these by doing 25 minus 16. Ooh, that's a nice tip. So I'll
I
still,
was just surprised it's like not actually bleeding through.
I haven't ruined it yet. 25 minus 16 is 9. So I could turn this and do 1 and 9/16. And add that to that. So I've got 61 and 9/16. The question is 9/16 greater than that 0.6? Now we just need to do a calculator. I guess we could have done that at the beginning, but I think it's important that you recognize an easy way to do fractions when you keep, if it's simple, having a practice. 9 divided by 16 is in the dark zone. 0.5625. So this number is 61.5625. That is less than 61.6 inches. So they will fit.
Get ready.
Theoretically, right? That's a tight fit though, isn't
I
it?
was gonna say, they always say, yeah, that'll work.
That's a real tight fit,
It's not.
like 0.56 to 0.6 inches.
That's why mechanics hate engineers, because they're like, it'll be fine, you know, and you know, it's
Like
not-
theoretically it could fit, but if you got them in, there's literally no
No.
room to
there's
pick
no
them up. Yeah, there's no wiggle room there.
Yeah.
So will it fit? Maybe,
Yeah.
right? All it takes is one of those to be swollen just a little bit and it ain't gonna fit.
It's good enough to be office, you gotta get it done.
Reduced to lowest terms, we're gonna start with 24/80. There's a couple ways we could do this. We could keep factoring them all out, write out all the factors and cancel what cancels. Or we just start reducing one number at a time until we get to something that looks like we're done. Like I could tell these are both even numbers, yeah.
We can just do like the greatest common.
Yeah,
Is that what you do?
so we could do the greatest common factor. Greatest common factor, let's see, let's write out what 24 is. 24 is 6 times 4. So I'm gonna have a 2, a 2, a 2, and a 3. 80 is 20 times 4. So 2 times 2 is the 4. And 20 would be 2 times 2 times 5. So the greatest common factor is that. So if I divide each of those by 8, whatever I have left over is what my value is. I got a 3 on top, and I got 2 times 5 on bottom is 10. That's a nice pristine one. I'm gonna break up the other things first. Ready for more? I wrote 2 times 2 times 8. That should be another 2 there.
Blind it with person.
Everybody ready for more? All right, let's take a look at number 5. Number 5 is write 0.431 as a percent and as a fraction. The percent is pretty easy. Just move the decimal point right twice, and I get 43.1%. In terms of writing it as a fraction, what I'm going to do is count up how many decimal places there are. There's 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to make a fraction that's got a 1 on the bottom and then that many zeros. 1, 2, 3. And I will take my 431 and put it right on top. And 431 might be prime.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't know that it reduces. If it does, it's got big numbers and we're not going to do it. Although I know 1,000 is, I can check real quick. 1,000 is 100 times 10. I've got 2s and 5s in there, only 2s and 5s. It's 2 cubed times 5 cubed. 2 doesn't go into this and 5 doesn't go into this. So even if 431 isn't prime, there's no 2 or 5 in 431.
So no matter what, it's factored not as far around as.
So yeah, it's as reduced as it can get right there. Number 6. What percent of 72 is 27? I'm going to do my is of percent triangle and fill it in with what I got. The 27 goes with the is. The 72 goes with the of. So I don't know the percentage. I am looking at division. So what is 27 over 72? It's going to be 3 over 8, which is 0.375, I believe. Let me verify that in a calculator.
It is.
And then that's not what it asked me. It wanted a percent. So if I shift the decimal point or multiply by 100,
Yes.
you get 37.5%. Which is the same as multiplying by 100, is the same as moving the 2 decimal places.
Why don't you do like third grade teaching, do the cross multiply? That's how I've done it forever.
Cause I don't know how to do math as a 3rd grader.
I love doing it, because then you can kind of like.
You can cross multiply.
Just basically what you did right there, what we would do, like, you got your.
Blank over 100 equals 27 over 72.
Yeah, and then you just put the question mark over that one that you're missing, and then you just cross.
You can.
By that one, by the 100.
If you like doing it that way, you can. 27 over 72 equals blank over 100.
27 or 27 times 100.
So it ends up being question is 2700 over 72. And that's going to give you the 37.5. That's not the way I taught it, so
No.
I don't want to trip anybody out. But if you like doing that method, please do. 60% of 82 is what number?
See, now that's where I like my mistake. Makes it easier.
I have my triangle up there. I'm not going to redraw it. What I'm looking for is the is. I have my of is 82. And my percentage is 0.60. I'm going to write it as a decimal. So my is going to be 82 times 0.6. Let's see, we've got 49.2. Did I do that in my head right?
Yep.
Damn, I'm good. Damn, I'm good.
But this is where the cross method is my favorite, because then you don't have to worry about like having to remember to put that to a 0.6. Because then if you do the cross method, you just 60 over 100 is 60%. So then you just multiply 60 times 72.
However it works for you.
I don't know. I just.
So we've done one where the is missing. We've done one where the percentage is missing. Guess what we're doing on the next one? We're doing one where the of is missing. No, we're not. We're doing one where the percent. Fuck, I got 2% ones on there. Look at this scrub.
I didn't say it either. The only scrub part of that.
What? I am reading it right?
Yeah.
I meant to have one of each. That's fucking, this is why I knew it, something was off.
This one.
So 9 divided by 90 equals 0.1. And if I turn it to a percentage by moving the decimal point twice or multiplying by 100, I get 10%. Equivalently, since he's gonna say it unless I write it.
I have to say.
He does equals X over 100. And so we cross multiply. We only really need to move that one. X is 9 times 100, which is 900 over 90, which is 10. What? No, that's kind of, well, there's another one that has percent in it. In fact, the next one is themed around you, Mason.
So.
But when everybody's done running, we'll bring up Mason's question. Everybody ready? Yep, I see someone ready. Be patient, Jones.
Was it just a common cold?
What?
So was it just a common cold that got you? Or was
My
it something-
stomach was upset. I don't know what happened.
Very cold and stuff. Yeah, they all have kids. Yeah.
right? Little parasite vectors.
Yeah, I know. Feel bad for teachers. Ooh.
Fuck me, that elementary school
Around.
teacher, that's just an
Yeah.
ask me to get sick. Yeah, college is the sweet spot.
Yeah,
In fact, community college is better than university as a teacher for several reasons. All I have to do is teach, I don't have to do research. Plus,
hold your position.
community college students, guess what you don't get with community college students?
Very
Very rarely is it a bunch of rich little shitheads
Yeah.
on their daddy's and mommy's dime that doesn't give a shit. I tend to get at least students that want to try because they either are taking loans or paying for it on their own or something like that.
For me, it looks like real world because you get different people from different like ethnicities, different age differences. Like it will be like,
Oh, yeah.
like in a work environment. That's how I see it.
Community college tends to have a lot more people that are varying age. At university, it's not the same percentage. Like here, we probably have 30 to 40% of the people that go to CO, maybe 30% are like over 25. And at a university, it is not that. It might be like 10% or something like that. So like most of the people that are in that range, they're not going to transfer. They're just here to pick up some skills or something like that. But you're still getting to teach a wide range of people. And adults tend to try a lot harder than an 18-year-old does. They don't want to work in, Jack in the Box anymore.
Yeah, sometimes you see some kids just waste it all because they don't spend that time.
Yeah. All right, number 9, Mason's problem. Mason gave 42 correct answers out of 50 on a test.
That's not it.
That's about right. You should have been fucking showing up to class and this is about right.
Shooting for that B.
What percent did he get correct and what percent did he get wrong? And wrong.
Technically, you can go about it.
There's a lot of ways to go about it.
Divided 42 to 15.
That's exactly what you do. So, if we want to find the correct answers, the percentage that's correct is going to be the number that he got correct over the total number that were available. And that's going to give us a value, and we're going to multiply that by 100% to turn it into a percentage. You should get 84%.
What is 50?
Holy shit, that's glass.
It's not an expensive.
And I didn't think there was anything there at all. I saw a little bug hanging and I was trying to like knock the bug and I fucking ran into a solid surface. So there's a couple ways to get the percent he got wrong. The easiest way is just to track what he got right from 100. It's going to give us 16% wrong. The other way would be to figure out how many answers he got wrong. If he got 42 right, he got 8 wrong. And we could do the same process we did with the first set, 80 times 50 over 100. Or what?
You could just like, if you got, even if you had like a 200 question test. Like you.
I like how you think. Let's upgrade the test to 200 questions.
No, but I'm just saying like a 50 question test is only half of 100. That's 2. So you can multiply 42 by 2, that's 84. So
That's what we did.
Yeah, but you can just do it that way instead.
Sure, you could do it that way. Most people aren't ready to do that though.
It's the same thing.
For someone that's comfortable with math,
I'm-
you're comfortable enough to want to do it that way. All right, so now that we gave Mason the shitty, I got a B range, let's do Bertha's problem. Bertha was earning 4,344 a month. But was promoted. And is now at. Earns 6,710 a month. Find the increase and percent increase. I thought about giving you a blush for lower score than 42.
No, but you're gonna make me actually.
Yeah, well, you can't do this in your head.
I don't know why
Champion.
I don't want to.
If you do it in your head, you're a better man than I am. I could do that, I could find the difference in my head and I could probably estimate the percentage, but I'm not gonna get it right. So the way we could find the increase is we just start with what she has now and subtract what she had before. Subtract what she earned before and we could find the increase. 2,366, that looks right to me.
Yeah, maybe.
So that's the increase. If we want to find the percent increase. Is going to be the increase over the original value. This is going to be a little over 50%, looks like. Maybe, let's see.
Over under 5.
It's going to be over 50.
No. But over or under 55.
It'll be under 55.
Okay, you're right.
I'm just, maybe 51,
No,
52.
no.
I'll find out. Oh, barely under.
Yeah.
Or, well, I guess if I rounded it, that would be a 7. We could say 54.5%. That's a good promotion.
But if you do my X way, you could just straight up slap that 6,000 right over the 4,000. Multiply the 6,000 by 100.
Uh-huh.
5 by 4. Get the 150.
Right,
And then
but then
not
you still have to
worry
do the
about-
work to get the
But then we're
increase.
not having to worry about rounding a ton.
Yeah.
But that's if you're working. with it.
There's lots of ways to do it.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to-
You guys ready for more? We're already almost halfway done. We're gonna be out of here early today. 'Cause I don't have anything else planned for today. Maybe I should go slower because I want to waste more of Mason's time. He only shows up, what, once a month now?
I think my surprise would be-
Any category that is on the test that you'll need conversion rates for, I will have up on the screen for you to use. Okay, you don't need to memorize the conversion rates.
There's 70 seconds.
Yes, please do that. So what we want to do is we want to convert hours to seconds. So I start with 7.5 hours. And I know there's a relationship between hours and minutes. There is 1 hour is 60 minutes.
Great show.
And the hour goes away. 60 minutes is a great show. How fucking old are you?
What are you talking about?
Does anybody else watch 60 Minutes? Do you think it's a great show? Yeah,
Exactly, yeah, I don't know, not all the topics are like, yeah, let's watch this, but some of them I'm like, I can say it.
1 minute is 60 seconds. So we get 7.5 times 3,600, which is 60 squared.
What if I just time 7.5 times 6? Just straight like that, with
You
not
can.
removing like the hour.
You can,
You can, I'm just showing how you get it. Because if you're not comfortable with that doing it, this is, you don't need the bridge. Shit. I just randomly picked 7.5 hours,
I turned out perfect.
right? That's some
I-
perfect shit right
I
there.
thought you actually chose that, cause I turned that around and I was like, really, 20?
I didn't even look at your screen when you, I saw you turn the calculator, no, that was chance.
Yeah.
All right, number 12, a dog kennel uses
He's that guy. He's in it.
35 pounds of dog food per day. How many pounds are used in 1 year?
Oh,
We will assume a standard year.
not leap year.
We're gonna assume a standard year, 365 days. We're not doing the 364 and a quarter or 365 and a quarter, 365 and a quarter. We're just going straight days. So, doing that same thing, starting with what we have, I have 365 days. I know 1 day is 35 pounds. And so now I'm left with pounds. 365 times 35 is,
I thought it was 24 pounds. I thought it was 24 pounds in a day.
what?
24 pounds in a day, right?
Yes. I'm gonna make a fucking special test for Mason. This is what that's gonna happen. And he's not gonna have any way in hell.
Everyone's gonna get test A and then it'll be one test B and that'll be.
You're gonna be like, why is my name already on this test? I don't know, Mason. You tell me why.
Yeah.
Next question for everyone else right now is, how many inches are in a marathon?
$26.3.
Which is 26.2 miles. For Mason, I want to know how many decimeters that is.
Well, I don't know if I come from a conversion chart. What's a? Give me the
You're the
closest.
one that knows everything.
Give me the closest, I don't have a conversion chart and I don't want to cheat with,
I don't have it with me either.
what's the closest number of this?
A decimeter is 1/10 of a meter. So that's the closest thing to a meter. No, 1/10 of a, yeah, it's 1/10 of a meter. So I start with 26.2 miles. Mason, how many miles are in, how many feet are in 1 mile?
5,282.
It's not 81. It's not 83. You don't know it.
Yes, I do know it. but
You
why
give
not?
up, then you're lying to me. Deliberately misleading me.
No,
I know it ends in a fucking 4 or a 6.
now you make me question.
5,280. It didn't end with a 4 or a 6 or a 1 or a 3 or anything we came up with. That can't be right. That doesn't seem right.
No, it doesn't seem right, but that is right, I just.
And I didn't want feet, I wanted inches, and 1 foot has 12 inches. So we're doing 26.2 times 5,280 times 12. God damn, that's a big number. 1,660,032 inches.
Alright, check me on.
Oh, you wanna know it in, let's see,
It's
In terms-
39 inches in a meter, right? That's what I went by. That's what I can remember. Cause I'll tell you my number.
I Google how many inches in a mile. Then I got the right.
let me see, right, 6.2. That's kilometers. And then multiply by 1,000, and then another one for decimeters.
Oh. I'm scared.
And I'm getting 162,000, that's not right either.
No, do it in inches first, so we're converted back down to inches, so I went on your
It's too
inches,
much.
and then I divided it by 39.
I went straight from mile, oh, did I do the 26.2? Too much work.
Just take a look.
That was the first number I got.
No, this is the final number. That's your
I
decimal.
did it twice, I got two different numbers, I'm telling you what
I'm telling you, that's the one.
that's what I'm saying I got, so silence. You're slowing me down, boy. Boy?
What?
Boy, I said, boy. Foghorn leghorn shit. 7 feet, 4 inches, minus 2 feet, 7 inches. I'm gonna write this, I think it's a little bit easier, as 4/12. That's 4 inches over 12 inches. And the 2, I've got 7 inches over 12 inches. That's not entirely correct, but it allows me to see that I'm off. And I can turn one, pull off one of these and add a 12/12 here. So I got 6 feet, 16 inches, the 4 plus the 12 on top. Minus the 2 feet, 7 inches. Now I can just subtract normally. 6 minus 2 is 4. And 16 minus 7 is 9. I'm gonna have to come over and just slap the shit out of Mason. Just for general
You
principle.
better take the back and front hand.
It's always
Back hand.
front, the slapping, that's slapping.
Yeah,
Like a bitch.
yeah, as I say, that's a big.
That's not
slap.
right.
If you wide swing, that's a pimp slap.
Yeah. That's easily dodged. You see that, just, real quick backhand. You won't see it coming. You go home.
Pass out that test and check it.
Mama Provost, professor's threatening me. He's scary. Add -2 1/4 plus 7 3/8.
I'll tell her when she. Or when she dresses.
Fucking so funny.
Just imagine
When she dresses in the morning. All right, so like this is gonna be like subtraction. And I don't like that they have different denominators, so I need to get a common denominator. I hope you guys can see that 8's the common denominator, because this we just multiply this by 2/2. Now you get minus 2 2/8 here. Here I've got 7 3/8. And so 3/8 minus 2/8 is 1/8. And 7 minus 2 is 5. So when you have one of those negative, one of those positive, you can just do subtraction. Ugh. Oh, I know what I'll fucking put on Mason's test. Needs to calculate standard deviation. Put like fucking 10 numbers on there, 15 numbers on there. By hand. Calculated by hand, boy. Write in ordinary notation.
10 would suck. I could maybe like do like 2 or 3 relatively fast.
We're gonna start with 5.38 times 10 to the negative. I know, that's why I said fucking like 10. 3 you can do pretty quickly.
Yeah, I was like, it's not that bad.
So if I want it in ordinary notation, I need to get rid of the 10 to the negative 7. So as a reminder, if this is negative, we move the decimal point goes left. If it's positive, the decimal point goes right. In this case, it's negative, so we're gonna go left 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 more zeros. 0.0000053. That's it.
That's a much better description than what I had in my head. Anytime I see the negative, I'm like, it's going to be small.
It is smaller.
I know, that's my,
That's a handy way of thinking it. Negative is bad, it's smaller.
yeah, and then positive is bigger.
That's not bad. I like that.
That's the 3rd grade math, so
Well, that's for you.
I would rate that at least an 8.5.
Minor.
Why? The surprise factor is what got it.
Oh. Oh, it should surprise. Oh, I know why it surprises you. You're never here. I do it all the time. I blow kisses to Bertha all the time. I don't know why she's still in the front row.
He's in the splash now.
Right? It's like going to a fucking Gallagher concert.
Yeah, it's like World War I over here. She's gonna show over the gas mask and like.
All right, so if we want to express in scientific notation, we got to make it so that there is only one number in front of the decimal place. So I'm going to just count how many I had to move over to make it happen. I had to move over 3 to get to there. This goes the other way. If I started with a small number, then the multiplier is going to be a small thing, a negative thing. If it's a big number and I gotta move it, it should be a big positive thing.
But you can think of it this way. Negative, you're subtracting, so you're just trying to subtract the zeros there.
That's a decent one. I like that. I think you need a harder test. I think, what do you guys think? He should get fucking standard deviation? Maybe throw some variance in there.
Oh, they didn't make for extra credit.
Not a bad idea. Throw in a standard deviation problem as extra credit.
I wouldn't.
That's not a bad idea. I like doing extra credit problems. Does anyone need this up longer?
Just do a really long word problem that has like a ton of dumb information, because those are.
Then I have to come up with a ton of dumb information. And I have a problem and a hard time doing dumb. Just too damn good.
Massive special.
Simplify. I've got -29 plus -17 minus -31. So a couple of things going on. We got a lot of negative signs here. So let's see if we can condense anything down. If we ever have a couple in a row, like we're subtracting a negative number, we could make these two positive.
Yeah, I was supposed to say. The little rule I was taught is like, you just, the negative is always superior, when you see the two negative, you make a positive, when you see a negative and a positive, it's a negative.
Right,
That's how I know.
that's how it works.
We just think of adding them together.
So now we could go left to right, or I could be smart. What is 30 minus 29?
One,
1. And I still have minus 17. If I want to do this the other way, I'm going to do 17 minus 1 and use the sign of the bigger number. The sign of the bigger number is a negative, so the outcome will be negative. 17 minus 1 is 16, so I'm going to have negative 16.
you could also, theoretically, you could also use go. Common signs, figure out which one's the one that will be the last one. Hold that aside.
What?
That's what I'll do sometimes with like, when it's like.
I don't even know what any of that means.
When you hold, like, you know that. Alternate.
Do all these negatives and then do this positive, then mark?
Yeah,
Yeah, you get it. That would take more work than what I did.
yeah, but when you have multiplication and division, it helps.
Evaluate.
What do you math teacher mean by that?
What?
So what do you guys mean by that?
Get down to one thing. Simplify would work here as well.
It's not solved.
So we're looking at PEMDAS. So if I stick with the parentheses first, I literally got to work on this first. So I'm going to do that first. And when I do that first, I'm going to go through the rest of the things on PEMDAS using that. So, and I'm expecting you guys to show work on this, like not just spit out an answer from the fucking calculator. Do a little bit of work. So inside it, there's no exponents. Inside it, I need to do what's on top first and what's on bottom also, but bottom's already done. So going through it, there's no multiplication or division on top. There is subtraction on top. That gets down to -6 on top and 3 on bottom. And then we have got division. Division gives me -6 divided by 3 is -2. And I still have the rest of the problem right there that I got to do. Now I'm outside the parentheses are done. And the exponents are done. Multiplication, we do left to right. 7 times -5 is -35. And I still got divided by 5. And I still have multiplication division, so I need to continue doing that. -35 divided by 5 is -7. Yes, I know I could have done it differently.
I was just asking to make sure I was like not wrong.
Do the 5s first.
Yeah. Only because that problem works out that way. You always choose the most perfect problems.
-2 plus -7, they're both negative, so I just add the numbers and use the results. 2 plus 7 is 9, and they were both negative, so it's negative.
You showed him the other way.
What?
Will you show him the other way or not? They're not with it.
I'd rather not
Yeah.
confuse people that are not
Is this the last problem?
comfortable with it. No, we got 6 more. That's for the practice. Your test is gonna have like 80 problems on it.
We get like, what, 2 hours?
Not you guys will have the same amount of problems. This is, we're talking about the fuck Mason test.
It's gonna be the test where I gotta use both front and back of that. 280, 2 whatever you need, scan. Cool.
I Scantron my eye, I ain't doing Scantron.
Are you into Scantron?
No, Scantron's a multiple choice. Scantron is bad. If I make a Scantron test, all those answers are gonna look like reasonable answers. In fact, usually they'll be the answers to the most common fucked up ways, the most common mistakes. Multiple choice tests are not your friends.
But that's what I like about them is because you have to be confident in yourself, because some people can just confidently put down anything on just write it down, whatever. And then they think that they're gonna be right, but at least like a multiple choice allows you to be like, you didn't come up with an answer that was any of those. You at least know you did something, so maybe you could get a different process. Like it's helpful for like.
It can help the right people, but most people are just gonna go, I don't know, I'm gonna guess. I will have like fucking half the class cutting the test in fucking 10 minutes. Like, I know you guys didn't do this shit. The odds of passing a multiple choice test by just picking answers is like phenomenally low. Like, let's go gamble
I had
in
a teacher
Vegas.
once, I had a teacher once, they did the meanest thing to me in 7th grade, like everyone in the class, like. Some of us could like ace and stuff, and I think he found out some of us were kind of like just sharing each other's like notes and answers and stuff, so
That's
we
what we
all were
call
on the same
cheating.
stuff. No, not during the test, but we were all at the same like knowledge, and we were all like acing the class, and so he one time made the entire test like all the questions would go like A to B, A, B, C, D, E, A, B, C, D, E, and like just make little patterns with it. So you be marking it down on your Scantron, you look at your Scantron, you're like,
There's no way this
there's
is.
no way this is going.
All right, so when we evaluate these, if there's parentheses, we include the square on the negative. As it is though, there's no parentheses. So the square is only on the 4. And we do the negative last, so I'm gonna like write it like that. No parentheses means if I did it like that, I would do this. 4 squared is 16, and then I have a negative sign. If it was written as this,
Including,
I'm including the negative, and so then we gotta count how many to go. If it's even, you make it positive.
I don't know if we've covered absolute value yet, have we not?
I don't remember.
That's kind of.
Did we cover? I don't know.
The straight lines. And no, don't bring it up.
I might have mentioned it, but I think I described it how,
Cause that's how my calculus teacher described it, and I was like. That kind of made a lot of sense to me. It's like if you don't see any parentheses, just imagine it as a straight line right there, so it's absolute value. Which means no matter the negative is there or not, it's still gonna be just 4. So it's just 2 times. 4. And that's it. Oh, sorry, not.
Huh. Interesting. Does anyone need this up longer? All right. 21. Calculate the mean.
I'm glad you're not.
And we've got 99, 97, 81, 89, and 86. Yeah, there's me median mode.
I can't remember. That was like.
Mode is the most common response. If there's like a
Which
bunch of
one is
them
the
in the
most-
same,
what was the definition of?
the most common answer.
Oh.
If there was like, if there was like 399s, it would be
Yeah, but
negative.
if you had, you had the loss.
Yeah. So how many entries do we have? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That tells me what I gotta divide by. I'm gonna divide by 5. First, I'm gonna add up all those numbers.
It's at least like,
Let's see. Is that 452? And 452 divided by 5 is 90.4. Right? So 90.4 is the average grade. It was grades on a quiz. That's a dead pin.
How many things is that get so far? Is that just the same one that you've accidentally?
No, that's two different ones. They were low when I came in.
You gotta start talking to the provost, no, she's not giving you enough money for pens.
I got plenty of pins, I just don't throw them away until they're dead.
Yes, wow.
I got a box of
about
pens.
that, yeah.
Your mom takes care of me.
But she does, okay, yeah, I don't know.
He's the
Sometimes
only,
you
you're the
sometimes
only
you come home
person I can
and
say that to you.
She's real stingy about the money though. So sometimes I don't know if she gives everyone what they need.
She even replaced. Normally her secretary replaces the battery key in this. And before the semester started, her secretary wasn't here yet. She personally came out and replaced that for me. Your mama done me right.
That's the first time I've ever heard her replacing the battery by herself. I do everything.
Well, yeah,
Smoke alarm.
that's why you have kids.
I guess.
You have kids to do all the shit you don't want to do.
Slave labor.
She's got a secretary. The secretary wasn't there. I still needed a key, so she hooked me up. This one was find a median. And we had 21, these were all in dollars.
We have to go out on the highway?
No.
Oh, okay.
They're all dollars. So what's the median here?
I gotta read it.
Okay, good. You're not gonna.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah. How many are you? Oh, you mean. Okay,
So what is it? What is it? That's the point. So the median is the middle number, but they have to be in sequence. They have to be in order. So I'm gonna rewrite these in order. The lowest number is a 21.
But did you do a median? Have you explained the median with?
Yeah. Yeah, I taught on this.
Yeah, you can make it.
This is just a practice.
Just make it simple.
Then the next lowest number is a 26. Then the next lowest number is a 34. And then I've got 40 and 50. When it's an odd number, it's really easy to do. We just go inward until we get in the middle, and we get 34.
I thought you were gonna mess me up and be like, I thought that was such a thing.
If there is a sixth number, or an even number, I should say. Let's say it was 21, 26, 34, 40, 48, and 50. Because I don't remember how many it is on the test. I wrote the test. And so just to make sure I give you reasonable practice. When we go inward and we get to the middle two, we've got two in the middle now. We can't just pick one. So what we do is we add them together and we divide by 2.
Or basically find the average or the median.
Which is that's what, yeah. Which is the mean or the average of them, and it's 37.
With small enough numbers like that. It's split the difference. But
Yeah,
with larger numbers, you kind of.
yeah, if you're comfortable doing this, split the difference on that, knock yourself out. So the next one is an example from the trifecta in horse racing. Because I wanted to teach you a little bit about gambling without going into it. If there are 10 competitors in a contest. Normally a horse race is like 12, I think.
Yeah, let's say. Depends on how big the field is, sometimes they do that.
How many combinations can we make? Are there? For first, second. And third place. Did I tell you guys about my trifecta story?
No.
You weren't here, you wouldn't know, Bertha. So when I was like 10 or 11, I grew up in Sacramento,
Where is that?
like Sacramento.
Well, west side, north?
No, it was north, like Carmichael is a suburb.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay, so the state fair's there, and so, and when my friend's dad did the feed for the horses at the track. So we get into the fair every year going into the horse races, the horse entrance, the gates. And one year, my cousin took, this is a waste of your time really, but it's an entertaining story. My cousin, she was like 30 and we were like 10. And my mom gave her like 20-25 bucks to just let us spend money on the fair. I think it was that much. She decided to show us the evil of gambling. So she took us to the horse races and she wanted each to bet on the trifecta. The trifecta is picking first, second, and third place. You have to have all three horses, and you have to have all three horses in the right position. If you say like Aaron is first and Bob is second, but Bob came in first and Aaron was second, you lose. So it's like $2 to take it, but so it's really hard to do. I fucking nailed it. I nailed the trifecta. I was picking based off the names. I picked names that I liked. Did that bitch give me my money? No. I was like, I got so much money to spend at the fair. And she's like,
You mean my money I get to spend it?
she went home and she didn't give it to you. Only let me spend the rest of the money that my mom gave her. And she gave the rest of my money, the money to my mom. Because she did not want to reinforce that gambling was good. I was pissed. I was pissed. So. How many different people could be, how many of the competitors can take up first place?
And then,
There's 10 for the first spot, right? If that position's already locked, how many are left for the second place?
nine.
There's only 9 people left there. In third place,
You don't like it.
there's only 8 places, 8 people left. If we multiply this all together, we get 720. There are 720 ways that first,
Second. The combinations.
to pick first, second, and third.
That's kind of good. That's pretty impressive though. Out of 720 ways, you pick the one.
Right. And if there's, I don't remember how many horses there is. If it's 12 horses, it's even higher. It's 1,320.
Because what is, if you do the percentage real quick, like what is the percent on that?
1 over 720 is really low.
And I was
It's
gonna say.
like less than 0.5%.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's a couple zeros right there.
$24, if a single 12-sided die is tossed,
Who's playing with 12-sided die?
gamers,
What kind of game? Like not board game, but
D&D.
oh, okay.
There are board games that use 12-sided dice.
Not common, not Clue,
No.
or Monopoly.
Does anybody fucking play Clue? Monopoly is the worst game ever.
My parents are both over the age of 50.
Monopoly, Clue's not bad. Monopoly is the worst. Especially if you got like,
Awesome, because I love being a.
no, because you got like, if you got like 4 people playing Monopoly. One person gets knocked out pretty quickly, and they're just fucking sitting there, sticking their thumb up their ass and waiting.
I suck at gaming, so I'm always the one spectating, being like, oh, that's cool.
There are plenty of games that it's not, it's the first winner. Everybody keeps playing until one person wins. Monopoly, people just keep getting knocked out and they have to go do something else
You know what's a
or
good game?
watch. It's fucking
You
lame.
like the game of life.
Life is all right.
That's fun, because then everyone gets their own little path.
there's
Everyone gets a
not a
penny.
lot of thought in that
I
game,
know,
it's like.
it's a very participant game, you know, it's like,
So-
okay, cool.
If a 12-sided die is tossed, find the probability of rolling a number that is 9 or higher. So. Probability, we put the total on bottom. And the number that meet the criteria on top. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, and 12. 12 different sides on this dice. 9 or higher means include the 9. There's 9, 10, 11, 12. If I add those up, that's 4. So the top of my fraction is a 4. The bottom of my fraction, conveniently, it tells me in the name of the die, there are 12 sides. So the probability is 4 over 12, and if we simplify that, that simplifies down to 1/3. That's kind of,
I mean, technically, yeah, that makes sense, but it just doesn't seem. That doesn't seem right, but I guess when you put the number line on it, yeah, it's just one. But I guess it's just like coin toss, it's not always exactly.
coin toss is half, it's always half. This is not a coin toss. The coin toss would be 7 or higher.
I know, but I'm just.
Who plays with 12-sided die? Just don't get out. I do. I did yesterday. I played D&D
Is it
yesterday.
normal, just like 1 through 12 die?
Yeah,
I've never played that, so I just. have
if you
to-
guys want, if you've never seen them, I will bring in the D&D dice to show you what they look like.
I saw, cause I went to, saw that press cause I went to go visit my friend at Houston State, and there was like a comic book store. And I went in there and I finally saw like the D&D dice, and I was like, holy shit, I got
They're pretty cool.
Yeah, I was like, it's freaking cool. That
Cause
comes
they're little like triangles instead, right?
A lot of them have triangular sides. The 12-sided does not, it has pentagons on each side.
Oh, it's nice.
But most of them have like triangles. Calculate the range. You know this one?
So,
Before I tell you, let's see what Mr. I don't have time to take your class remembers.
Can't remember if it's the space in between or if it's the 2 quarters.
The range is the high minus the low.
Okay, that's what I thought, yep.
It looks like the highest number here is
82.
82. And the lowest number here is 13.
So have you not gone over quarters and all that stuff?
I didn't hit on quartiles. I didn't see where you would use that in most professions.
I was about to say, like, it's not accurately used. Not even the range, I mean, I guess the range would be used, but not the word range.
I don't know where you would
that
use standard
calculation.
deviation in a trade skill either. I taught about it, taught what it meant, but
You would.
that's it. With all the explanation and all that, it took an hour and 10 minutes. You guys, if you guys have practiced and been doing your homework, you can be out of here pretty quickly on Wednesday. You can get out of here really quickly if you didn't practice. It'll take you all like 2 minutes to write your name and then just walk out. But if you've been doing your homework and you practice a lot, you can get it done reasonably quickly. Same type of problems, different numbers, different order. Don't try to memorize the order on the test, like change the order around. But
With the same problem?
they're not the same problems,
Oh.
but they're
okay.
like,
Similar,
they're very similar.
So I went through my. And we sent the homework and all that, but can I go back to like old homework and have practice?
Yeah, you should be able to work on old ones and do it. When you're done, it probably asks you, do you want to save this try? Say no. Unless I think I have, there's a penalty on doing it late, so you don't want to save the try. Or the best practice you could have here is go to announcements, load this up on your screen. Try to solve these problems without looking at the answer key that we just did today. I'm gonna have it scanned and stuff. See what you get on this, then copy check your work and figure out which areas you struggle with and focus more on those.
What kind of calculus or are we allowed?
Any calculator, you still need to show your work.
What kind, what do you mean by like,
Basically, what I did today is showing your work.
do you mean everything I've been doing, I can't do, I just gotta write it all down?
Just write it down.
See, no, I'm not cheating. No, I'm not cheating,
Yeah,
yeah,
yours is gonna be much harder than this. So yours,
that'll be fun.
yeah,
Can we use our phone as a calculator then?
No.
No.
But if you don't have a calculator, just run up to student services and.
because the phone has, guess what, pictures on it.
Or
So you could just go and look at all the pictures of the problems that we were working on and go, oh, yeah, well, just compare it to this and do that. So that is a no. I will at least have one calculator with me. If you need to come do calculator work on it and didn't bring a calculator, you can come do the answer real quick. What?
Since student services is calculated, you can go up before class,
Oh,
they've calculated. So if you go to, I think that's upstairs, but
yeah, student services is upstairs and I think they're there till
really late.
4.
Yeah.
4 or 5. Tell them you're taking a test with Jones.
And tell them that, I mean, ask them and should double check if maybe they can get you the calculators, you set them maybe somewhere, I don't know. Because then they'd have to return them at some point.
Right.
I don't know if they have to return it that same day or not, but.
Right, you wouldn't be able to return the same day, but you could return it the next day.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, doesn't matter, but
If you have trouble with like tests, or you have a hard time when there's people taking tests and they just walk out. And all that they help you, like, but tell them if you could take the test over there and they'll have like a have a little supervisor.
that's only
What
if
do
you
you
have an
mean if you
ADA.
have, like, if
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
But you gotta have an ADA sign, all that form and all that stuff. There's the.
right? You don't have to, like, you can ask to have it, but they won't give you any extra time or anything like
Most-
that.
Most of my professors, they always put it in their syllabus that like, I won't grant you anything until I see.
Well, you're not getting anything special out of doing it, you're just taking it in a quieter room. It just means it takes longer for me to get the stuff back and get your grades back to you. Let's face it, there's what, fucking 12 of you in here, there's not a lot of people in here. If you really need it, do it, but otherwise. If you're gonna do something like that, you need to let me know ahead of time, because I have to email on it. Other than that, Wednesday, 4 o'clock. Be here.
You move.
It's on Wednesday, 4 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that Mason came because I wanted to see him doing a shitty score on the test. Well, not shitty, but not an A.
I'm kind of struggling with the last 2 questions, so if I have any questions.
Of course. You know, you can even, I can't believe